Greetings, this is the great one himself, Cynical Libertarian Society, hanging out here. If you hear extra background noise this time around, it's because I'm up in the home office and I'm currently formatting 2 hard drives, trying to get other stuff done, cleaning up. So anyhow, I'm working. This is, by the way, this is an Anarchy moment. Welcome. This is what Anarchy moments are all about, is when I'm just doing stuff and suddenly I have these brilliant fucking insights. Like the one I just had. I can just grab the Zoom H2 recorder. That was not a product placement, of course. Never. I would never do that. God, movies! If you listen to the last Anarchy moment where I was going off about movies, what the fuck is it with movies and the goddamn product placement these days also? Oh my god. I mean, that kind of shit. Back in the day, you didn't see product placement in Casablanca and Maltese Falcon and Hitchcock movies and Flight of the Phoenix and 2001 Space Odyssey, except for Pan Am. Also, I remember hearing that originally Stanley Kubrick wanted to use the Pink Floyd song Echoes for the end sequence of 2001 Space Odyssey, but something happened and that fell through. But apparently, I heard that if you watch that part of 2001 Space Odyssey and sync it up with the Pink Floyd song Echoes, it actually works and everything because he edited it to do that. Kind of like the whole Dark Side of the Moon and Wizard of Oz thing. And yeah, that has nothing to do, absolutely nothing to do with what the fuck my brilliant concept was. Anybody who listens to me regularly knows that one of my big kicks is how the internet... Did I just fuck that up? Not you guys. I was thinking about something else I just started doing. And yeah, screw it. It's for a cell phone. It'll be good enough. Alright. What was I talking about? See, Randy's not here to make me focus. Oh, yes, my brilliant idea. Alright, here we go. We're going to try to keep this short. Yeah, that's what she said. Alright. Focus, grasshopper. Focus. Hold on. Let me get another drink of coffee. I'm going to be right with you. Okay, this is not a Ben Stone podcast. We're going to get to the subject in just a minute. Another drink of coffee. All right. Okay. One of the big things that cranks my handle, other than your girlfriend, is the internet technology, how everybody behaves as if the internet and technology is this great multiplier of creativity, of how it's going to unlock all of this creativity and opportunity and lead to all of this creation and all this other stuff. And as I've been arguing for a while, this is not true. Now, I had a stunning revelation as I was working. Here's a little background. I just recently became a blogger with a network of blogs, and I'm going to be writing one of many blogs in this network. And going into the network, there is a formula to do this, right? All of the blog sites in this network basically look the same. All of them have a logo that's very similar and very distinct. You can tell it's part of this network. All of them have a similar posting schedule. You know, all of them essentially follow the same formula. Now, this is not all bad. Let's start off by saying that, okay? What you're doing here is you have brand recognition. You are creating similarities so people recognize that these blogs are all in the same network, because it's the network as a whole that is sort of the concept, and these are subsets of that network, right? And I get all of that. I totally get all of that. Now, here's where it starts to get murky. Now, there's another reason that there are guidelines in this blog network, and there are guidelines for blogging in general, and there are guidelines for designing websites in general. There are guidelines for lots of things on the internet, and there's reasons for them. It's because they've been shown to work. Okay? So let's say you're writing a blog. What has been shown to work? What's been shown to work is if you maintain a regular posting schedule. So say you post every Monday, or you post every Monday and Thursday, or you post every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or you post every day of the week. You know, it doesn't matter, but the point is to have a regular schedule. This has been statistically shown to work a reasonable amount of the time. And of course, all of these statistics in these blogging, because what is the holy grail of statistics on the internet? The holy metric of what happens on the internet is Google Analytics, right? So keep in mind, whenever you're talking about what works and what doesn't work on the internet, first of all, let's define our terms. That's the difference between me and all of the fucking stupid people, is that I define my terms. So let me do that. Because some of you may not necessarily know what the fuck I'm talking about because you're not on the internet all the time, because you have a life and you have friends and shit like that. When I'm saying what works, what I mean is what gets page views. Now, why are page views important? Page views are important. It's because having more page views is what lets you sell advertising on your website. Selling advertising on your website, or selling your product, if you're selling a product or a service, you know, regardless if you're trying to sell advertising, or if you're trying to sell a product you created, or if you're trying to sell your services, such as you have a business website. You have a business, you have a website for your business, same thing. Okay, more page views ultimately, statistically speaking, averages out into more money. Are there exceptions? Of course, there are always exceptions. That's why I'm talking about statistically and averages. So page views, people clicking on your website, that is the holy grail. Whenever I say in this podcast something works or doesn't work, works means it gets more page views, statistically speaking, than average. Doesn't work means it gets less page views, statistically speaking, than average. That's the holy grail, page views. So how do you get more page views? How do you get it to work? Okay, you post on a regular basis. Your post need to be shorter than 1,000 words, because people don't have the attention span to hang in there for more than 1,000 words. Your post need to include pictures, because people are attracted to visuals, even though people aren't willing to pay photographers to create good visuals for them. I can say that because I'm a professional photographer, and people expect photography for free because they think you don't do anything but push a button. That's another rant. Okay. Regular posting schedule, less than 1,000 words, have pictures. And I mean, there can be other things as well. You know, the looks of the blog. For example, with websites, it's become pretty much accepted practice on a website that if you go to a website, whether it's a personal or a business, there should be a logo of somewhere on the website. The blog logo, the company logo, your logo, whatever. There's a logo. It's almost always at the top and in the left-hand corner. It could be top center, but it's not going to be top right. It's not going to be bottom, whatever. It's going to be top center or top left. When you click on this logo, it's going to take you to the home page. The website or blog should have certain pages on it. There should be a home. And when I say pages, this means like tabs, menu selections, right? Things that you can find. There's always going to be a home. There's always going to be an about. There's always going to be a contact. Those like the three big ones. It seems like there's something else that should be popping into my head with that, but it's not. It's not that big of a deal. But the point is, there's a sort of standard accepted layout for a blog or for a company website. And there are ways in which this is good, and this makes sense for a reason, okay? Let's say I'm looking for a product or a service, I get on the internet, I find a website, and this is, again, there is no such thing as the books you need to be reading to understand where I'm coming from. You need to read, trust me, I'm lying, which I've plugged before. You also need to read a book called Don't Make Me Think. Can't remember the name of the guy who wrote it, but it's about website usability, and he talks about this usability stuff. People hit a website. Again, we're dealing with short attention spans. And this includes me. I come to a website. I'm looking to purchase their product or service, right? I want to find out some things. I want to find those things out really fast. I want to find out if you have a physical location. I want to know where you're at. I want to know what your hours are. I want to know if you offer what I want. And I want to know at least a rough estimate of how much it's going to cost. With products, you can give a price, but not always, because some products fluctuate. You know, with services, you can't always give a price, but you can give a range. So if I go to a website, I expect to be able to find that information easily and fast. I expect to not have to read a lot of shit. I expect, you know, everything to be organized. I want to find that information quickly, right? With a blog, if you're doing like professional blogging thing, you've created this environment. People want to come to your blog. They want to see your post. They want to see some pictures. They want to be able to read the post quickly. They want it to be less than 1,000 words because they want to read, you know, this is the whole internet thing of TLDR, too long, didn't read, which is why democracy doesn't work, because we are allowing people to vote. In a democracy like the United States, you allow people to vote for other people who will make laws that affect every human on Earth. We're allowing people to vote for people who are going to kill other humans, right? But these people who are voting are not able to read text that is longer than 1,000 words. These are not intelligent people. And these people should not be voting and making decisions about which humans are going to get to kill other humans. This is why democracy doesn't work. Okay, back to the internet. So there is this formula, there's this equation, there are these things which are shown to work. Remember, work means gets page clicks, right? You publish on a regular schedule, less than 1,000 words. You have pictures, you have a home tab, you have a logo which is in the upper left and it goes back to your home page. You have an about page, you have a contact page. If you have products or services, you have a tab or a page, product services, that clear list things. All of this is shown to work. And so because everybody wants to, you know, get the page views, they want to sell the product, they want to succeed, they want it to work, people see this formula, they see this equation, I should call it. I remember I had a mathematics professor who, if you messed up and called it a formula, he would say, we're not feeding babies here. It's not a formula, it's an equation. People see this equation for what has been shown to work, and they rush to apply the equation to their website. Like everything, this is good and this is bad. This is what those of you who are statists can't understand because of your obsession with conflict duality, is you're not able to grasp the concept of necessary duality, which is the opposition of conflict duality. Necessary duality is the concept that every coin has to have two sides, right? You can't love people if you don't understand hate, and you certainly can't hate people if you don't understand love. The duality here is that utilizing the equation will very often give you good results. The bad part of this equation is that when everybody is creating their websites to exactly the same equation, there is no creativity there. There is no opportunity for innovation. You know, there's no opportunity for somebody to try doing something different and exploding out. If people in the corporate world, and not corporations, yada yada yada, but we'll use it because those of you who are statists are in love with Apple, so this will work for you. You know, if the people at Apple had sat there and said, well, the equation for telephones that works is that telephones have a handset, and they have a base, and they have a rotary dial on them, and they have a cord that plugs into the wall, right? So that was the equation that worked for telephones for a long time. And if Apple would have said, well, we have to stick to the equation because that's been shown to work, right? If you look in people's homes, every telephone is like that. This is an equation that works. You can't argue with it. But somebody at Apple said, you know what? That equation, it's worked, but what can we do different? That's what the fuck innovation looks like. It's when you move away from the equation of what works, what has been shown to work, what has statistically worked in the past, and you do something different, you create something different, and you go down a different path. And speaking as somebody who builds websites for other people, does blog consulting, right? If somebody comes to me and they want to do a blog, you know what I'm going to tell them? I'm going to tell them the standard equation for success. I am. That's exactly what I am going to tell them, and if they want me to build a site for them, that's exactly what I'm going to set them up with. But it's not going to lead to innovation. And so if you are, a needle pulling thread. So if you're looking to the internet, if you're looking to websites, if you're looking to bloggers, if you're looking to this whole concept for innovation, you're not going to find it there. That's not where innovation is going to happen. The internet is not channeling innovation. It's not fueling innovation. It's not building innovation. If anything, the proliferation of websites and bloggers on the website is stifling innovation because everybody is doing exactly the same thing. Now you may be wondering, okay, well if we didn't do it this way, what would we do? You know, what is the innovation? Well, again, welcome to libertarian paradise. I, as Michael Dean would say, I am not the fucking libertarian paradise central planner. I don't know what that innovation would look like. If I fucking knew that, I'd be God, or I'd be Hussein Obama. You know, I'd know everything like they do. I don't fucking know what that innovation looks like. If I knew what that innovation looks like, I'd goddamn do it. I wouldn't be talking to you right now. But somebody out there does know what that innovation looks like. And if that person has that innovation in mind, but instead they choose to do things by the equation that has been statistically proven, that innovation is going to be lost. So it's like anything in society. There's a degree of conformity you want to have in order to get along, to function, to achieve, yada, yada, yada. Okay, we all have to conform to some extent to the society around us to be in the society, but you also have to innovate. You also have to be different. You also have to stand out. So the question is, if you have a website, especially if you're a blogger, how do you conform in the ways you need to conform to get success from the equation, and at the same time, how can you innovate in order to take the equation into previously undiscovered country?